Well, you have a new documentary out, Microphone Check.
Yes.
Which I've actually watched the whole thing. So, correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like the point of the documentary was that hip-hop was created solely by foundational Black Americans.
That was the main point of the film.
And no other races.
Right. All of the elements of hip-hop, every single element, as we shown in the movie, was created by foundational Black Americans, and other people came and picked up on them later.
Okay, so, I mean, I've touched on this here and there, and it's interesting about the whole Jamaican aspect of it.
Right.
Right? Because I've actually said this publicly. I remember when I interviewed Sizzler back in the day, I think I mentioned that, he agreed with me and so forth about how, you know, there are some Jamaican roots in hip hop because Kool Herc is a Jamaican immigrant.
But he didn't bring anything culturally Jamaican to hip hop.
Okay, so this is an interesting argument, right? Now, was hip hop created by all Black people? Yes, I wouldn't doubt that at all. Now, where you kind of created a distinction was that it was created by Black people, but Latinos did contribute.
They came later.
They came later.
They were the first students of hip hop. They came almost a decade after it was created.
A decade though?
Yeah, they came like
so those original groups where you had the one Latino guy, like was like DJ Charlie Chase and stuff like that.
Late 70s.
That was late 70s.
Yeah, late 70s.
Well, 73 was the first hip hop party, so maybe 5-6 years later.
It's the first technical hip hop party, but they're saying, and we've alluded in the movie, that there were parties that would be known as hip hop later, going back to 70, 71, because Kool Herc, he's done interviews saying that he went to parties years before he had his and saw them playing breakbeats and saw people breakdancing. It was a club called the Plaza Tunnel in the Bronx. There was a DJ named John Brown that Herc said he saw playing breakbeats and people were breakdancing. The guy in the movie that we have the first breakdancer, a guy named Trixie. He was breaking in 1970. So people were doing it in the early 70s. 73 is when Herc had his party. And what Herc did was just focus all on breakbeats. I'm just gonna play these Black folks, they like these breakbeats. I can't play Caribbean music. That's what he said. He said he couldn't play Caribbean music because we didn't like it. So he just focused on all of those breakbeats he heard other people playing. He said, I'll just keep playing these all night. So that's the thing that made Herc stand out.
Well, look, in Jamaican reggae culture, there is the selector, which is what Americans call the DJ, the guy that plays the records. And then there is the DJ, which is the guy on the mic, right? They call it a DJ in Jamaica. That sort of team of, guy playing the music and the guy on the microphone, that was around before hip hop in Jamaica.
They were doing that in Brooklyn. You had people like Pete DJ Jones. He had an MC, KC the Prince of Soul. So we had that. And we also had DJs who would rap on the mic on radio stations back in the 1960s. That was a thing. Even though the term rapping, that was a term that we used in foundational Black American culture. James Brown rapped on some of his records. You had people like Pig Meat Markham rapping on records in the 1960s. So we were already doing that. We were rapping on records and having block parties and DJs shouting out over the mic and rapping and rhyming over the we were already doing that. In Herc's case, because Herc couldn't rap, or Herc couldn't really, and Grandmaster Flash either. Grandmaster Flash said he didn't like the way he sounded, so they would have to get other people to make announcements for them. That wasn't anything just out of Jamaica. They just wanted somebody who had more lyrical ability to speak for them and to get the crowd hyped up.
Well, yeah, Coke LaRock, who I've interviewed, was, I mean, most people, including himself, feel like he's like the first rapper.
Right, the first MC, because he did little rhymes, but it wasn't really rhyming on beat.
Yeah,
he didn't really
shout outs.
He was doing shout outs and clever shout outs. Say, if you're the place to be, come rock with me. Say, that type of thing. The first person to really rap in rhymes over records is DJ Hollywood in hip hop. In hip hop, but even in the movie, as you saw, there's been like a little back and forth between the disco DJs and the hip hop DJs. A lot of the people who were considered disco DJs were somewhat dismissed, but they were instrumental in the creation of hip hop. But it all comes from foundational Black American culture. We didn't get anything, it wasn't anything that we got from Jamaica, the whole sound system thing. No, we had sound systems, we had speakers, we had all that stuff. You had DJs in Brooklyn who had the sound systems who were foundational Black Americans. So that was part of our culture. Block parties, we were doing block parties. In the movie, Microphone Check, we show a block party in Harlem, 1967, a bunch of Black people dancing in the streets. So we were always doing that stuff.
Well, I guess the question is because what does Kool Herc say? Because Kool Herc was not in the interview, in the documentary.
Right. And we reached out and we couldn't get in touch.
Listen, I've had conversations with Kool Herc and it was, if you know Kool Herc, it was really, man, it was a hard conversation to have.
Yeah, I've heard.
He is all over the place. And he'll start bringing up outrageous things and it was like, I tried to get him for an interview. So, I mean, he did come over as a teenager. He is Jamaican. So, but he's never actually spoken on it himself, has he?
He's done interviews.
About that?
He's talked about, he's done interviews saying that he didn't play reggae music at all. He said that. He said he was on Combat Jack's show. You remember Combat Jack?
Of course.
Yeah, that's my good brother. Rest in peace to him.
Yeah.
And in the Combat Jack interview, he said that he saw somebody playing breakbeats in 1970, 71. It was a guy named John Brown. That was one of the first people he saw kind of doing what would later become hip hop. So this is him saying this stuff. So it was around. And even he's done other interviews saying, yeah, hip hop was around before my party, but in 73, that's when it became solidified. So he even Bambaataa acknowledged that hip hop was going on before that 73 party. So that's something that's been kind of common knowledge among some of the pioneers.